From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE with huge news about your stocks, your bonds, your crypto, and your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. A fourth stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state, and a new report out today signals that the fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state is actually less than the amount of the average consumer's savings in their bank account. Yes, I have a stimulus check that is larger than the amount of money that the average viewer of this channel has saved up in the bank. It's huge, and how you get that incredible check is coming up later in this recording. But the other breaking news that you heard last night on Evenings LA, which we have a preview in today's recording as well, is that 81% of Americans now believe that we're going to recession later this year. What a change it is, because back in February, I was the first to tell you we are going to recession. Now Americans believe that recession is coming. That's why you need to get that fourth stimulus check that's in every U.S. state. How do you do it? Step 1, become a member. Step 2, go into that membership newsletter. And step 3, subscribe. A fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. What is it? I'll have all those incredible checks for you coming up later in this recording. We have breaking news about the Build Back Better Act as the negotiations are back underway, and they're likely to get done very quickly. They so say. I have the latest details on that front today as well. Then we turn to Census 300. We'll turn to that student loan debt forgiveness. Next, over to sixth stimulus. Then over to the situation on the gasoline. Could the price of goods that you're paying for at the market go even higher? I have the latest inflationary worries and the recessionary concerns as well. Then we'll be having a preview of what Jay Powell is and is doing with those interest rates, and then how it's impacting your economy and your wallet. No time to fret, no time to wait, because a stimulus stampede will be coming to this channel in less than 90 days from now. But for you, you're watching for May 21st, 2022, how to get that fourth stimulus check. You're going to get it. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, today. How do you do it? Subscribe, become a member, get that newsletter. And over this big broadcast to you at the very end, we're going to go over how to get those incredible checks. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good morning. It's Mornings LA. We got great news, big money, and the details start right here, right now, on Mornings. And good morning. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's May 21st, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good morning. Hope you're having a beautiful day. There's a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. You need it because the stimulus stampede is on the horizon. Why? 81% of Americans now polled believe a recession is coming later this year. How does that impact your wallet? I'll have the latest details in this recording. Step 1, subscribe. Go to the top of this channel and hit that subscribe button right now. Step 2, go where it says join the channel. Join and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get that fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Over this recording, we have a lot to go over. The recession, the inflationary pressures, the Build Back Better Act, the SS 300. Then we'll be turning to the student loan debt forgiveness, the big issues at hand with the stock market, the bond market, and then over to what Joe Biden is and isn't doing, and the big money issue. Oil, wheat, and gas also being covered later in this recording. And with that, let's go to the breaking news across the board today. A big new report released minutes ago says that in 1 year, consumer savings plummeted 15%. From an average of 70,000 plus last year to less than 66,000 this year. This is as millions of Americans were believed to be dipping into those savings to buy products higher because of inflation. Why is this important for you? Because with that average amount of money in consumer savings accounts right now at less than 66,000, the great news is that I have a fourth stimulus check for you that pays you more than that amount of money. upwards of 80,000. It's coming up late in this recording. Last night, we had the results of a major new poll as well, featured on Evenings LA in prime time. That's coming up tonight with a brand new show. I have a preview of it in this recording. It's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tonight. That poll said that 81% of Americans now believe we will be in recession later this year. Boy, this is so important for your stimulus because you're watching this channel on May 21st. And a lot of people aren't yet feeling the hurt of a potential recession or the hurt of very bad inflation. They will in 90 days from now. The stimulus stampede will be coming on this channel. No time and place for you to wait for them. You need to get the money right today across the board. That 81% of Americans thinking that we're going to recession later this year is shocking because why? Back in February, yours truly was the only person in the American landscape recording that we're going to recession for 2 years starting next year. When I made the recording, people looked at me like I was crazy. Then what happened thereafter was Deutsche Bank, the German bank, said in April, recession for 2 years starting next year. Morgan Stanley said maybe. A few banks said sort of maybe. And then even last week, we had Wells Fargo saying, potential, but not saying definitive or firm. When you ask Americans, 81% of them, in a new poll among financial viewers, which is important, and this is financial viewers, these are a little more sophisticated viewers, 81% of them said recession later this year. This is big. Why? It's going to change consumer confidence. It's going to change consumer spending. And it also will give people guidance about where their wallet will be felt later this summer. What's at issue is that the hurt of this economy is going to hurt a lot more in 90 days from now. Why do we know that today? Because we have a lot of guidance from those corporate earnings that came out in the last 2 weeks. Kohl's, Target, Walmart, included, and of course Amazon, in which they said the retail sales implications because of supply chain disruption were a little bit more complicated, in fact, a lot more complicated than any of us could have ever predicted. When we talk about supply chain disruption and its impact on your stimulus, impact on your money, we usually talk about it in very simplistic forms. Can't get the products. Can't get the products from point A to point B. That's what we usually talk about when we talk about supply chain disruption. So when Target and Walmart reported corporate earnings in the last 14 days, and they talked about a totally different type of supply chain disruption. Even Ross dressed for less. You now can dress for a lot less because why? They have inventory that is built up that is not moving. What do we learn? We learned that there were some new analyst reports in less than 24 hours that are signaling if you think you're paying a lot for inflationary pressures right now, you're going to see a lot more. Why? Because some of the big box retailers say that in delivering you the products over this year, the retailers, have been absorbing the cost of the supply chain disruption and not passing the cost over to you entirely. Now that their bottom line is hurting too badly, that their net revenues, their net profits are down too dramatically, they're going to be passing those costs over to you. That means that some analysts are now predicting that inflation may go even higher among consumer goods. Higher than 8%, Jay Powell? Yeah. This is something that no one saw coming, and this is why retail is so difficult to analyze. Like a Kohl's, like a Target, like a Home Depot, like a Walmart, like a Ross Dress for Less. Jay Powell saying he's getting inflation down. Not if those retailers have supply chain disruption and they're going to pass the costs over to the consumer. Yes, some analysts are now predicting 12% inflation coming to the U.S. economy. This suddenly becomes very, very scary because suddenly we have three different narratives, well, almost four. Some analysts in less than 24 hours saying the big box retailers are going to start increasing prices a lot more. You're going to see 12% inflation on some products. Then we have Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, saying, I'm getting down inflation to 2% later this year. Not believable. Buffoonery. Really not believable. You have me saying we're getting inflation down to 4% later this year, but it's going to sustain at 8%. We have Bank of England saying that we're raising interest rates in England, but the inflation is going to track even higher at 10%. If you see all this, you say, this all sounds very scary. This all sounds very problematic. This all sounds very differing. And none of these numbers look good across the board. That is why millions of Americans are now bunkering down and saving and not spending. If you're saving and not spending, what happens? The growth of the U.S. economy shrinks. You don't go to buy the product. Let's do it in very simplified form right now. Are you going to pay $6.40 a gallon unleaded domestic California prolonged? Are you going to pay that? No, you can't afford it. Are you going to be able to afford a $5 gallon of milk indefinitely? No, you can't afford it. Back in March, when I told you Putin was invading Ukraine, that was not sustainable. This is not sustainable. And that is why we're heading into recession. The question is when. Let's go to Build Back Better Act, because here we have some great news. On Build Back Better Act, $15,000 to $80,000 of additional checks, on top of those forcible checks that are in every U.S. state, which are coming up later in this recording. Build Back Better Act is back on, baby, with negotiations really looking great among two people. They are Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. The negotiations were back on when I reported them over a week ago, but the cast of characters was different than I thought. I thought that it may include Joe Biden, not included, or Bernie, not included, or Liz, not included. It is really just two people. It is Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin. We know a lot about the negotiations because they've told us, and then we don't know some parts as well. Let's go over the great details. First, Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer say they're going to get it done. I believe them. Why? These are two individuals which they themselves also say are very fond of each other. Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer have worked together side by side, Democrat, Senate, for many, many years. They know each other very well. Number two, they have big respect for each other. Number three, they're two of the most blunt senators that exist. They tell you exactly what they love and exactly what they don't like. The Democrat from West Virginia, the Democrat from New York, they don't hold back. Number three, they both say they want to get this done before the midterm elections, that the economic issues at hand are really hurting you financially. So everything is really at issue. Do I think it's going to get done? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to be solidified by these two people? Absolutely. They say they want to get the vote done by Memorial Day weekend. Possible? It's really tight. They'd have to solidify the negotiations really in the next few days, then get the drafting done, then called for a vote. Really tight. Now, here's something that is really at issue, which is they say they're going to get done. I believe they're going to get it done. The question is what will Build Back Better Act 2022 look like? And will it resemble 2021? Here's what I need to prepare you for. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state right now. I need you to get those checks because, in my opinion, Build Back Better Act 2022 will look quite different than Build Back Better Act 2021. Let's go over those three clusters and three add-ons right now very quickly, and I'm going to tell you where I think the changes will happen based upon what we have heard from Joe Manchin over the last year. There's $15,000 to $80,000 of forced stimulus checks in that incredible recount. That will likely stay in there. But let's look at that first cluster. Hazard pay, I think it'll stay there. He likes it. $4,000 elder care. If it does not come from Medicare, yes, it could stay in there. The CTC, sure, that can stay in there. The $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. I think it's fine so far. And then the home repairs. I really don't know about that one. That's sort of a mixed bag. In that first add-on, it checks $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. I think Joe Manchin likes that. The mortgage rates are too high. He understands that. People cannot afford a home. I think that add-on would stay in there. Let's go to the second add-on, $250 billion of free home health care. No, I think that's going to fall out. He does not want to increase Medicare costs whatsoever. So I think that's going to fall out. Sorry, Bernie. MSC, that $2,000 a month, first month, $1,000 thereafter, up to 6 months, which was never added, but it would be an add-on. I think he likes it. I don't know the magnitude of it, and I don't know if it fully would survive at that complete magnitude. Cluster number two, paid leave. Would it survive? No. He said specifically, I am not doing paid leave. It was originally not in there. He said, I don't want it. Nancy put it in there, Nancy Pelosi. Then it survived, and he said, take it out. I think it's definitely 100% falling out. What about cluster number three? Free internet, sure, that would stay in there. The farmer's check, sure. The seniors, everything for the seniors would fall out. Absolutely everything, almost. Dental out, vision out, hearing out. Anything that involves increasing Medicare costs, I don't think it's going to survive. The Medicaid gap fix, yes, that would stay in there. That is the workaround plan in 12 Republican states to provide insurance to uninsured people. That was actually drafted by him with Raphael Warnock, so I believe that would survive. That is why, in view of what the it is and the uncertainty of what the it is, you got to get these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state right now. These forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state right now are the big payday. And these are the big payday. They're available right now. The stimulus stampede coming on the horizon. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that newsletter and get those applications on file. How do you get them? They're coming up in just a second. Let's go back into the latest developing details on what's happening with Jay Powell and the economy and why that impacts Build Back Better Act and also your SS300. SS300 is one of those situations that you know me well. I really just want to go off on the president because whether it's the president or Jay Powell or Jeff Bezos or yours truly, everyone knows that the impact of higher prices of goods in the supermarket or at the gasoline pump is felt worse by the individuals who are low-income producers or individuals who are beneficiaries, like SSI, SSDI veterans. You can't afford these prices of milk or wheat or grain. And when I tell you it could go higher, yeah, it could go higher. Let me tell you what's going on. The supply chain disruption that we learned about this last week is nothing like that we ever thought that's happening. The supply chain disruption involved things like Ross Dress for Less that said they ordered the products, they came late, then they were out of season or out of fashion, and they remain on the shelves and they did not move. In the case of Walmart, they said they ordered grills and then the season, the weather changed, and then they were no longer needed. The inventory sat, the inventory had to be discounted, and then the employees were told, hey, we have too many of you on the floor. This is all dramatic news, and none of this can be fixed by Jay Powell. Jay Powell is going to get really a tongue lashing, in my opinion, in the next 30 days because people are going to start to realize is something wrong here with this guy. He doubled down on Thursday saying that I'm going to continue to raise those interest rates until I get inflation down. Well, you ain't going to get inflation down if you got products in the stores that aren't selling that have nothing to do with interest rates. They're not selling because the products shipped the wrong time. The time that products ship and how they arrive, that has nothing to do with interest rates, has nothing to do with inflation. People did not buy the products because they're out of season. That had nothing to do with consumer sentiments. Now, when raising those interest rates, what does it mean? It means that you're hurting a lot of other places. Flexible anything, flexible mortgage rates, car payments, anything like that is going to go dramatically high across the board. And that is where Jay Powell is really not going to do it well. Joe, make the call. Share this video on social media. Tag the president at POTUS and Joe Biden. Hashtag Joe make the call. Tell that Social Security Administration head to swap COLA for inflation. Why? It would raise your benefits up $200 a month. Right now, you need the money. You need the money right now. Not just this month, not just this year, a lifetime. And then what happens later this year? If I get right in the inflation at 4% later this year, another $100, SS400, SS300. If inflation actually tracks, God forbid, at 8% this December, that would be another $200. That would be SS400. That's why Joe Biden needs to make the swap, because you, as a low-income individual or as a beneficiary, are feeling the pressures of this inflationary environment more than anyone else. The next thing that Joe Biden needs to do right away is forgive that student loan debt issue. $10,000 is on the table, and the president, in my opinion, is holding this for the midterm elections. A bad focus. Now, I understand you're not paying the student loan debts right now because they're a moratorium, but that would alleviate, $300, $400 a month for many people across the board. What's at issue? The president first forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled, then went to work in the nonprofit or public sector, then whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. He said no to 50,000, but he should say yes to 10,000 and get it done. I believe he's going to do it, but I think he's holding this for right before the midterm elections. Not a good focus. Get these checks and get them done. If you want to learn more about student loan debt forgiveness, I have a lot more about it today on the afternoon show at 3 o'clock. I go over more about how to get your debt forgiven. It's coming up in that recording at 3 o'clock. Now, let's go back to this economy and why the situation is unraveling so quickly. When Jay Powell announced in the month of April he's raising your interest rates a half basis point, no, it didn't really resonate. And then Amazon reported corporate earnings early May, and their numbers were horrific. That was the first downturn of the economy, of the stock market. Then Jay Powell made his announcement. But then it was Walmart. Then it was Target. Then it was Kohl's. Then it was Ross Dress for Less. Let me make something clear, which I've not made clear before. All these horrible corporate earnings reports were not bad because of Jay Powell. Were not bad because of interest rates. They were bad because of supply chain disruption, something Jay Powell cannot fix. And suddenly the stock market imploded, going down day after day, week after week. We are now 7 consecutive weeks down for the stock market. The worst levels since the 1920s. The worst downturn of the U.S. stock market since the 1920s. And everyone understands that's happening. You may not own stocks, but you understand the stock market's down. It's a subject matter that millions of Americans understand. The stock market's down. Whoa. Did it crash? It did crash. How many days has it been crashing? A long time. So when people hear that, they understand there's something wrong. A bad stock market resonates to Americans as something's wrong. Something's wrong in the economy. And what results from that? Maybe I need to watch my money. Maybe I need to save. Maybe I have to worry about my job. Until the employer comes to you and says, you know, last week, Bobby, you worked 40 hours. I don't think I need you this week for 40 hours. I need you for 20 hours because we're not selling the merchandise. It came late. It's just not selling. That's the discussion that appeared in the Walmart corporate earnings report. Too many employees on the floor. And here we go. Unemployment surging. Yes, I'm going to watch for those unemployment claims on Thursday this week, 200,000 last week, 2 weeks ago. It could surge as employers now realize they have too much inventory and that inventory came late and that supply chain disruption is hurting them. It's before we get to the issue of the inflationary worries. Now, the news for you and I is all really good. You're watching this channel, this video today, and all the videos across the channel today for May 21st, 2022. The hurt of this economy, as bad as it's going to get, has not been yet felt by millions of Americans and potentially not yet felt by you. In 90 days from now, the hurt will be there. It'll start to feel like the storm of the recession out to sea is starting to pick up the wind on land. And what's going to happen? Stimulus stampede. Millions of Americans are going to start coming, saying, I need a check. I need a check. You got a check. You got a check. And that is why you are lucky that you're watching this channel today. Because after the commercial break, I'm going to go over the big 4 stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state for you to get. If you're single, if you're married, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on SSI, if you're not on SSI, if you're a retiree, if you're not a retiree, if you work, you don't work, if you rent, you own, I got checks for all of you. They're coming up after the commercial break. It's a 4 stimulus check, lots of them in every U.S. state. What do you need to do? Step 1, go to the top of the channel and subscribe. Step 2, go under the video and hit that join button to become a member. Then step 3, get that newsletter and apply. How do you do it? It's coming up after the commercial break. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. We're just getting started on a big morning's broadcast. I'll see you back in 60 seconds, but first, here's a little bit about the members community page on Mornings LALATE Live.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now, live on air for May 21st, 2022, from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good morning. It's Mornings LA. I see you're all having a lot of fun in the live chat. You're all talking about zucchini bread and onions and sour cream. Oh, deliciousness. Become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because a fourth stimulus check is in every U.S. state. And with that, when you go right to those checks right now, but first let's understand how we got here. We got here because this is nowhere else in America except on LALATE. My job on this channel is to get you money, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, but right now. Also tell you where the economy is today and give you predictions of where the economy is going. And back in March, you and I were watching. We were watching and understanding the Build Back Better Act was not getting done in March. You needed checks. You needed money right now. So what did I do? I looked high and low to find checks for you, and I found them. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Because finding stimulus checks is an art form. And when it comes to this art, I'm the Picasso. Let's go over the details of these incredible checks. These are not from Congress. These are by executive order. Covered in broadcast media? No. Covered in print media? No. Covered on the YouTube channels? No. Covered here? Yes. I've been doing this since early 2020. When millions of Americans learned that there was a lockdown from COVID, you need money. You were losing your business. You were losing your home. You need that EIDL grant, that PPP, that PUA, that LWA. I immediately came on air and I said, here I am. Welcome. My name is LA. And I'm going to show you how to get these incredible checks right now. And you pounced. Then in December 2020, millions of Americans were hurting. You need more money again. I showed you how to get it. Pounce. Third stimulus. Pounce. And right now, even with Congress not acting and not getting it yet done, I have found these checks, which became executive order law as early March. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state right now. So let's get some checks starting right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less, get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, get it. And if you're on benefits, get it. How do you get this monster check, $6,500 to $12,000? Step 1, go right into this top of this channel and subscribe. Step 2, join the channel and get that membership newsletter. Step 3, go down in that membership newsletter to where you see Check A. It's an online application. Yes, that's the only way to get Check A. You click the link in the membership newsletter under Check A and apply. How simple is that? Look at that check. When was the last time you got a $12,000 stimulus check? Yeah, that's deliciousness. Let's go to Check B. You're going to get that one as well. $15,000 to $80,000. Here we go. You heard that report earlier in this video that the average consumer savings in the United States is less than $66,000. I got you a check more than the amount of money you got in the bank account. $80,000. Average viewers channels gain $66,000 to $80,000. Same eligibility, same income levels. How do you get this check? Very simple. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, go right into the membership newsletter. Go down to Check B, and there has a link in that membership newsletter under Check B. Apply. Apply for that incredible Check B and get it right today. It's only by application. We're not done there yet. Then we have Check C. Check C is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is for renters. I'll say that again, for renters and also homeowners. It is rent, utilities, mortgages, and more. How do you get this incredible check? Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member and go down into that membership newsletter. For Check C, you are not doing an online application. You are making phone calls. In that membership newsletter, I tell you where to call, what to say, how to say it, and how quickly to do it. That incredible Check C, all in that membership newsletter. These are the checks that are in every U.S. state. In addition to those checks, there are 24 states that also have Check D, at least. It's an average about $2,000 forced stimulus check. How do you learn about the additional Check D in some U.S. states? It is also in the membership newsletter. Go right down that membership newsletter and get that application across the board. Here's what you need to know is that you're in a very fortunate circumstance because you're watching now in May 2022. The economy is going to change very quickly. Do you feel it changing right now? I feel it changing right now. I can't believe that in February I recorded that there was going to be a recession, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy. Now, millions of Americans understand the recession's coming. Now, people are changing their consumer behaviors. Now, businesses that said we want to give you a bonus to hire you, and we really, really are having problems finding people to work, now are trying to say we have too many workers. We need to start laying people off. Things are changing very quickly, very suddenly. The good news for you is you're here. This money is available now. The stimulus stampede is coming. Can you hear it? It's going to come roaring in 90 days from now. So millions of Americans say, I need a check. Where's the check? Let me get a check. You get these checks today because the horizon out there is going to be turning negative very quickly. The magnitude in which we're going to go down may be escalating faster than we even think. If you see the velocity of the downturn of this economy in less than 2 weeks, then you know what I'm talking about. The velocity of the downturn of this economy has really picked up. The negativity of consumer confidence has really zoomed. And with that, it's important to understand that these checks are available today. You don't want to wait for any of these checks at issue. What do we have coming up today? At 11 a.m., we have a brand new show of Noontime. We have a big show of Noontime at 11 a.m. Then we have the 1 o'clock afternoon show, a brand new afternoons at 3 o'clock. Evenings heats up prime time at 5 o'clock. You need to listen to all the recordings over the entire broadcast day of this channel because there is so much breaking news. I can't get into every recording. And what's at issue is that the situation is changing very fluidly. You got to get every single check that's available. What's at issue is that the money is there. You need to pounce. And that the money will run out. You don't want it to run out on your watch. Your watch is now. The money is there. Go get it. Step 1, subscribe. Go to the top of this channel. Step 2, there's a bell. Make sure you have that bell set to all notifications. And step 3, get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, I'll be with you next on a longer broadcast for Noontime at 11 a.m. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing. It's mornings, and see you at 11 a.m. as Home LALATE heats up.